talking about effectively managing the family. And who better to do that than Mary Jo Tate of howdoyoudoitall.com. Now, before we went to break, we were talking about all the demands that we have on our life. And one of the things that you say is you are a time management coach. And in particular, I think that your target audience is the mom who has kids. Obviously, she's a mom, but she's working from home. Right? And so what you say to her, to me, you've got to redefine it all, especially if you want to effectively manage your home.
Exactly.
Talk about that.
The truth is, nobody can do it all. We have to choose. Yeah, I can see in your face that's
cringing.
hard to accept, isn't it?
It is hard
and
to
again,
accept.
it comes a lot to expectations. But we all have exactly 24 hours every day. That is the one irrefutable law of time management, is you will always have exactly 24 hours in a day. That's the same 24 hours that anybody has. We look at people and we look at people who accomplish tremendous things in their life and we wonder how they get it all done. They're the same 24 hours we do, they just use them better.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
They have the same 24 hours that we do. They just use them better. Okay.
So we have to be intentional and conscious about our choices with our time. One of the first things I teach my coaching clients is just say no.
You do not say no to people,
I say no all the time because we cannot do everything that everybody wants us to do. I try to say yes to my family most of the time and yes to clients when I can, but we feel guilty for saying no. Because as women, we want to please people, we want to take care of people, we want to help people.
It's something built inside of us.
Absolutely.
So how did you overcome that? And how are you now able, because even just hearing you say that you say no makes me feel anxious. Like, you know, someone's asked me to do something. And, you know, because I almost think, and this is bad, but I almost think that being a good manager of my home and of my family is also being able to take care of other people's affairs when they need me.
Right. Well, we do want to help other people who need. We don't want to be just me and you and our kids and no more, and we'll never help anybody else. We don't want to have an insular, hermit-like mentality, but we can't say yes to everyone. And what helped me learn the most how to say no is realizing that for each thing that we say yes to, we're saying no to everything else we could do at that time. So if I say yes to teaching at Vacation Bible School, which is a good thing, but if I say yes to teaching Vacation Bible School, I'm saying no to my clients for a week. I once had a call from somebody who wanted me to teach a poetry class for her homeschool co-op. I love poetry, I love teaching, I love homeschooling, but I couldn't do it because it was not something that fit everything else that I had on my plate at the time. And so we have to say no. It's not being rude, it's not being unhelpful. Very often we're not the only source of help that person can get. Maybe we can lead them to someone else who can help. But to do that, we have to be very clear on what our own priorities are.
That's good.
And fit in those other things around that. We can serve people, we can help other people. I'm very stingy in a sense with my time. I guard it very carefully. But one of the things I will often take time for is to counsel or encourage or coach another single mom, because I've been there, I'm still there, but I'm down the road. And, you know, just recently I was shopping in the local Kroger and I went a different route than I normally do. You know how we go through the grocery store, and for some inexplicable reason I went a different way, and as a result ran into someone that I know who had just recently gone through a divorce, and she really needed someone to talk to. And providentially, God directed my path through Kroger to stand there talking. And I had been, I thought, in kind of a hurry to get home, but I took advantage of that God-given opportunity to minister to her. I don't know, we talked 20 or 30 minutes.
So you have to really make sure that you know when those opportunities are, that you know what is, you know, the leading of the Holy Spirit, and not just something that's going to be good to do, but not necessarily getting you toward the goals that you've set for your family.
Exactly. Saying no doesn't mean saying no all the time. It means saying yes to the things you've chosen, and then to those providential moments to minister to someone. But in order to know what you should say no to and what you should say yes to, you have to know what your priorities are. You have to be able to focus and make those choices. And I think, you know, maybe a mom at home with a couple of toddlers and a baby in diapers is going, I know what my goal is. I just want to survive till the end of the day. You know, I've been there. But we have to think about, okay, everything that needs to be done, who can do it and who should do it. Because you know what? we're not the only ones who can do a lot of these things. My favorite example of figuring out what it is that only you can do, and then what are the things that need to be done, but maybe somebody else besides you can do it. Moms are going to love this. If you have a nursing infant, you are the only one who can nurse that baby, but somebody else can change the diapers.
Oh, that's good. That's good, but it's so hard. That's easier said than done. Because I really do think that the myth, as we're talking about managing your household, not just being there, but really managing your household, which I think makes us a good steward.
Right.
You know, it's difficult because I think as a mom, as a woman, we feel like in some way that's our badge, that we have done all of that. I can nurse the kid and change the diaper and get supper on.
Right, simultaneously.
Yeah, all you know, we kind of, and almost it becomes a thing where we have to do those things because we need to be able to talk about that with our friends. It
can become a snare of pride, or it can become a way to get our self-esteem. Stay-at-home moms are not highly valued in our society. So sometimes we feel like we have to show, I'm super mom and I matter because I am doing it all, and we have to steer away from that. Sometimes the things that matter are not the things that look glamorous or important. It may be stopping what we're doing that we had planned to spend time with a child who suddenly has a question. My children like, you know, the post-midnight hours for their earth-shaking life questions. I have older kids.
Oh, wow.
You know. But, you know, figuring out what you're good at. This may be, if you're working at home, what your business is. I figured out what I was good at, working with words, making sentences better, making books make sense, and so I make my living that way. So I say no to other things. I used to be involved in a sales company, and I decided that was distracting me from my main business. It was a great business for a lot of people, but it didn't work for me. So figure out what only you can do, then figure out what the other things are and who else can do them. Here's where training your kids really counts. Kids can do a lot more than we normally think they can. As I walked out the door this morning, my 20-year-old was sorting a ginormous basket of laundry and putting it in there. My kids do. Now remember, they're older. Right. They range from 11 to 20. Okay, this was not when they were 5, 4, and 2. Which you know, but you teach them young.
Sure.
My kids do all of the laundry, all of the cleaning, all of the dishwashing, all of the yard care, most of the, at least half of the cooking. I've trained them to be self-sufficient. Now in our family, this has been out of necessity, but they can do all these things. The 3 oldest know how to grocery shop with me. I expect to have very grateful daughters-in-law someday.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But it started when they were young. My principle was to assign the task to the youngest person who was capable of doing it. I used to say that I wouldn't bend down to pick up anything off the floor because they were closer to the floor than I am. Now I got 2 who are taller than me now, so that doesn't work anymore. But a small child can empty a little waste paper basket, maybe not the kitchen garbage, but they can take the little bedroom trash can and dump it into the big trash can.
Oh, that's good.
They can pick up their toys. I have not always successfully enforced this, but I tried to have a rule of if you've got out the Legos and the other toys, finish them and put them away before you pull out the stuffed animals or the building blocks or whatever. Now, you don't want to squash creativity because my youngest one is still doing wild and interesting things with Legos at age 11, you know, but teach them to value order. Clutter is discouraging and frustrating. We don't even realize it sometimes, but it can be negative. It can be a weight on us. We walk in and see everything is a mess. So order is a little bit different from clean. Clean is good too. But we have to think not what is so-and-so going to think if they come into my house, but what is the most important thing for me to do. It means, now this is really hard for me to say, letting go of perfectionism. I'm an editor. I make my living by perfectionism.
Perfect is your business.
Perfect is my business. Oh, I'm going to have to use that line. But it means realizing what's more important, the time reading aloud to the child or scrubbing the baseboards. Okay? And as I said, I delegate to my children. It's okay to get outside help. If your budget accommodates it, there is no shame in having someone that you pay to mow your yard, clean your house. I imagine there's someone right now shuddering at the thought of how embarrassing it would be to hire someone to work from, and maybe somebody else who's going, you mean I can do that?
Right, and not feel badly about that. This is something that, now let me ask you this though, because you coach women who are, maybe they have a business at home. Now I have done both. I have worked outside of the home and now I work from home. And I'm gonna tell you this, I said this to my husband, it was easier when I worked outside of the home. It just was. And I don't know where people are going. This is my opinion about life, because everything was in its own neat compartment.
And you leave.
Right. And none of them overlapped. And now what I have found myself struggling with and wrestling with is the balance. We talked about this, balancing, not always seeing my kids as an interruption and learning how to spend that time, how to focus on what it is that I'm doing. What would you say to someone who has a business at home? Maybe they do crafts, or they're building something and they've started doing this job online, but they have started seeing their kids as an interruption.
Okay. Kids can be an interruption, but we have to remember they're our main mission too.
That's right.
So teaching them to respect work time, not being working all the time, but if your kids are old enough to understand, I will often say, okay, I'm going to the computer now, I'm going to work for an hour, and then when I come out, I'll be available. So do you have are you set for the next hour? Do you have anything that you need?
Oh, that's good.
And give them tasks to do. If your children are young, you may need your computer and your laptop in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, it's in the kitchen.
If you're writing, you can't, if you're writing, you can't do that. Now, when my kids were younger, I had hired help coming in. I had teenage girls who came to my house. I would nurse the baby, pass him off to the babysitter. She would rock him, put him down, or maybe I already had him asleep. She would fix lunch for the older kids, wash the dishes, and so on. And that was the only way I was able to write my first book.
Wow.
And so help is okay. You might, if you can't afford to hire someone to help you, you might be able to find another mom to trade off one afternoon a week or something like that. Again, a lot of it matters with the ages of your kids. If you have all little bitty kids who aren't old enough to really understand why mommy doesn't need to be interrupted, you're either going to have somebody there to help while you're there, or somebody there to help while you're gone, or have to put off some things. When your kids are all young, it's probably not the time to try to write the great American novel.
Right. Which is what I'm learning. We're almost out of time, Mary Jo, but just in the last few moments that we have together, I'm wondering if you could encourage the stay-at-home mom, and specifically the single mom who may be watching, and maybe she's not at home. Maybe she happens to have a day off, but typically she's working because she's providing for her family, and often she's discouraged. What would you say?
Oh, number one, don't beat yourself up. Do the best that you can, and if you're not where you want to be, if you're working outside the home and you want to be at home, ask God to make that possible. Asking the church for help, not necessarily financial help, but asking other people, networking. My oldest son recently lost his job due to budget cuts at his employer, and he's going around talking to different men in the church. Do they need yard work? Do they know of anybody who's hiring? Different things like that. That's not just for a single mom, that's for anyone. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And don't feel like you have to do it all, and really just lean on God's, because He will provide. He is faithful, and on those days where you think, I just can't face another day of this, know that He takes care of the widow and the orphan, and that He will provide for you. Absolutely,
and God is so faithful to do that. Mary Jo Tate, thank you so much. The website is howdoyoudoitall.com. People can go there, find out more about you, when you're speaking, where you're going to be, maybe even learn about getting a book edited that they're working on.
Well, as far as editing, that would be at writeagreatbook.com.
Okay,
that's a different place. How do you do it all? We only just barely touched on that. There is a free report that they can get on that site just by signing up for the email list. Top 10 tips of ways to figure out what to do and when to do it.
And we all need those tips at some point in our life. Mary Jo, thanks so much. Thank you for watching. God willing, we'll see you back next time.